Hello everybody, I'm here to react to the video called 70-30 principle given by the presenter. Of course, the link for the video I placed in the description. You can just check it out and find out. The point is, the first and foremost observation that I wish to place here is about the 70-30 rule that the presenter says, and then he quotes the casino example. He says that if you have to go to the casino 10 times and you lose all the 10 times, definitely you're not going to be going to the casino. Incorrect. Number two, he says you go to the casino 10 times, definitely you'll be winning 3 times. That means he's giving a chances of you winning a casino game 30%. Impossible. That's never going to happen. Why do people go to casino? The very fact that they get high the moment they step into the casino. The lights, the games, the women, the people, the cheers, the drinks. So many things are there in a casino. If you follow what I'm saying. So it's not just for the winning. Everybody knows that they're not going to be winning, because the probability of you winning a casino game is heavily stacked against you. It's totally like what? It's impossible. Yeah. Even if you had to play the same game 100,000 times, you will never win. Why? The probability is stacked in favor of the machine winning all the time, every time. So the speaker suggesting casino game to be the 70-30 principle for it's totally incorrect. It cannot happen. Now, and then he directly inflicts this illustration to the real life job scenario. Now people, if are working, because if they are receiving $100, if they're paying $100 in taxes, they're never going to be working. Well, let me tell you one thing. There are countries in the world where people receive $100, they pay 70% in taxes and 30% is the take-home salary. But still they go to job. Are you with me? I don't want to mention the country's name. It is happening in the world. Okay? The speaker may not be aware. So, he's living in America. He's lucky to be in America, where if you're a doctor or an engineer, the taxes that you are expected to pay, even if it is 50%, it's fine. The rest of the 50% is more than enough for them to run the family, own a Mercedes Benz, and enjoy the life in all valor and grandeur. So why is he crying? Do you know how expensive it is to hire a lawyer in the States, an attorney in the States? It's to the peak. And the fees that they charge, have you noticed the fees that they charge? The attorneys there? Impossible. Unimaginable, unthinkable. Next, do you know how arrogant some of these attorneys are? Why? Because of the money that they make. So the government is mercifully charging them only 50% tax. I don't think anything wrong in charging these taxes, because the speaker always is against paying taxes. My question is, if you don't pay the tax, who is going to provide the electricity at subsidized rates? Who is going to give you water at subsidized rates? Who is going to pave the roads at subsidized rates? Who is going to run the buses for you at subsidized rates? Who is going to be maintaining the subways at subsidized rates? Who is going to take care of your protection from your immediate enemies, both external and internal? Who is going to be protecting you? And you are here all the time complaining about taxes, taxes, taxes. Impossible. I cannot even comprehend why on earth are you really so much bitter about paying what is due to the government. That's what Jesus said. He takes up a coin and his disciples were asking, what should we do with the coin? He flips and says, come on, what do you see on the coin? His disciples say, we see the face of Caesar. You know what Jesus said? Give unto Caesar what is due to him. So you should give unto the government what is due to the government. Don't rob the government. If people like you are promoting, oh, you don't need to pay taxes if you're starting entrepreneurship, if you're starting a business, if you're making an investment. If everybody were to do like this, ultimately, who is going to be running the government? How would the government function? If everyone has the scrupulous, devious thought process going, taxes, taxes, taxes. Of course, if you're living in US, you got to pay city taxes, state taxes, federal taxes. Taxes are the way by which the government protects the nation, protects you, protects your children. So why are you always blaming? the tax. Okay, the next concept. What the speaker talks about is entrepreneurship, starting a business, starting an investment. As I've already mentioned, starting a business is not a walk in the park. You follow me? Even if you were to sell a notebook or buy a notebook source it from somewhere else and sell it, you should really have the market. How are you going to talk to a customer to make him understand that your product is the best product? Is it possible? No. You have to appeal to his cognition. He might be a Japanese. How are you going to speak to the guy who's from Japan and make him understand that this notebook that you're selling is the best notebook? It's easy to speak these things, but it's not all that easy to really implement these things. Of course, I'm not against entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is good. Starting a business is good. But getting the idea, of course, the speaker mentions you need to do some courses, you need to learn. Okay, I learn, I buy a book, I join an online course. Okay, because according to the speaker, even joining a university is an expensive affair, right? Because most of the videos he says college degree costs you 25,000 something US dollars a year, 4 years, $100,000, and you can invest it in a business and become a rich man. That's what he's promoting. That's what he's proposing, which of course I'm not for that. Of course, in my previous video, I've clearly mentioned why is it imperative for you to join a university, because you have to understand. Aristotle says education is a provision for the old age. He also says education is an ornament during prosperity and it is a shield during adversity. I'm not saying, Aristotle says it. Well, so if you were to be promoting entrepreneurship at the cost of joining a university degree, then the speaker is doing something gravely inaccurate, gravely flawed. It's obnoxious to the extent. Well, I don't want to do. Okay, that's his way of approach. I'm not here to condemn anybody, but I'm merely reacting to the message, not at the messenger. That's not my policy. Okay, so I'm only putting forth the valid points. Okay, now I join an online course or I buy books and I read. There are several concepts which are beyond the comprehension of the normal mind, beyond the comprehension of the untrained mind to understand. How am I going to get it? How am I, say for example, let me give you an example. Now, whenever you're doing programming, say you are learning PHP, right? Now PHP, you might think a slash has got no meaning. You read a code, accidentally, you are not aware that even a slash, you're not able to distinguish the difference between a forward slash and a backward slash. Every time you have a backward slash, you replace it by a forward slash. Every time you have a forward slash, you replace it by a backward slash. You have written 10,000 lines of program and suddenly an exception comes. The exception will be countless, innumerable. Now, someone should have indicated to you this point, right? Let me tell you, without training, personalized training, without classroom coaching, it's impossible to learn some of the demanding things in life, right? It's not easy. That's what I'm telling you. It's good to start a business, but before you could start a business, you should get yourself completely trained. You need to know every nook and corner, unless, that's what they say, he who is not commanded cannot command. He who has not been ruled over cannot rule over. Are you with me? So if you had not gone through the mill, you cannot shine. So it's not all that easy with the 70-30 principle. I do not know how exactly you can bring the 70-30 principle to the way of life. The only way I can think is if you put in 70% effort, you get 30% gain. That's the only thing I can say. That's why there is a saying, it's not the only way to make money in a business is becoming a millionaire. So who becomes a millionaire? Those who have already been a billionaire You can become a millionaire in a business. Well, it's just a saying. So take this point. The take home point, you have to know this. 70-30, as I mentioned to you, I do not know how it can be applied, right, in the scenario that the speaker is aiming at. Next principle. It is easily, he says, it's easily said, start a business, make an investment. Unless or until you have studied investment, unless or until you know the money game, unless or until you're trained well, it's not easy. Okay, so the ultimate point is, online education is fine. By reading books is good. You would be able to understand the things in the book only if you carry a trained mind. You understand? If you were to buy a book on business mathematics, right, and simply read it, I'm sure you would not be able to understand it. Of course, people can claim, oh, I'm self-trained. You can only go so much so. Okay? You can only go so much so, because you should understand one important thing. Business involves not just buying something from one place and selling it in another place. No. One great businessman, a prominent multi-millionaire, he said, the first and foremost thing in business is knowing how to do accounts. You follow me? That is one of the traits. And you might say, I can learn accounts by watching video. Of course, it will always be one dimension. It will always be one dimension. You cannot get multi-dimensions of the content of the subject by seeing a single dimensional viewpoint. It's not possible. It's simple as that. But there are people who claim that they are self-trained. You can get yourself self-trained only if you are carrying a mind which is already trained, right? Lifting 200 kg would not be difficult for you if your body had already been trained by lifting weights. Okay, enjoy your day, people. Bye-bye.